Legalizing cannabis. Who's for it? Who's against it? I know personally a bunch of people are for it, and I know personally a bunch of people that are against it. I personally have seen the benefits of legalizing cannabis, whether it's recreational use or medicinal use. I personally have a friend who did several tours of duty for the Marines in Fallujah in Afghanistan. And when he came back, like most veterans, he was having a lot of trouble reestablishing himself. And he was on 10 to 15 prescriptions, if I was guessing. He sought out the medicinal marijuana, and since then has been removed from every single prescription drug that he was on, and currently only on the medicinal cannabis, and has done wonders for him. On the flip side of the medicinal marijuana, I don't think I'm going on a limb and saying that most of us have seen the adverse side effects of prescription drugs and the addiction that comes with those. I personally have seen that within my family, and I'm a firm believer that medicinal marijuana trumps most of the prescription drugs that are out there. We're going to talk a little bit about this legalization of medicinal marijuana, and hopefully at the end, whether you're on the fence or totally against it, maybe we can change your mindset to where you do see the benefits of legalizing cannabis. First, we'll discuss the economic benefits of legalizing cannabis. I think there's plenty of them. Second, we will discuss the medical benefits of legalizing cannabis, and I already touched on that a little bit. And third and lastly, we'll discuss the criminal aspects of legalizing cannabis. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about legalizing cannabis and how it's going to help the economy. I don't think I'm going on a limb again to say that anytime you introduce a revenue-making company that it's going to increase the economy in almost all aspects. At Investopedia.com, and I hope I don't butcher her name, Renalini Krisha threw out some numbers that in 2021, Washington State, with the legalized cannabis, created $559 million in revenue, which is up over $85 million. In 2020, Colorado brought in $423 million in revenue, which is up over 10%. The numbers alone speak for themselves. I would say that in her article, she also talked about how Nevada could support over 41,000 additional jobs, bringing in a $1.7 billion labor increase. And the California could support 81,000 new jobs, which would bring in $3.5 million of additional labor salary. So just on the numbers in that one article, you can look articles up all day long about stuff like this. That's just one. It just goes to show you that the benefits and the increase in revenue and jobs are definitely available. The tax dollars that legal cannabis could bring in could be very substantial. And I know money isn't everything, but for the tax dollars in 2019, from the states that have legalized cannabis, tax dollars brought in at $1.7 billion in taxes. By 2021, they were $3.7 billion in taxes. So you can see it doubled in a matter of 2 years. So I think the economic value is there just based on these short articles. Now, like I said, you can find them all over the place, and they're not hard to find. Secondly, I know money isn't everything. So secondly, I want to discuss the medical benefits of medicinal marijuana. This, of course, is where I had the firsthand knowledge of the cannabis about my friend Ronnie, who was in Iraq and Fallujah, and discussing all the prescriptions that he was on, and to see how much better he's doing when he is off all of those prescriptions. It's just, it's really mind-blowing, to be honest with you. In an article from the National Library of Medicine, Dr. Mark Andrews, Dr. Daniel Reese, and Dr. Joseph Sabia said that in 2012, and this is a little bit older, but just in 2012, men from the age of 20 to 29, they saw a decrease of 10.8% in suicide rate, and men 30 to 39 saw a decrease in 9.4%. So essentially, back in 2012, from 20 to age 40, basically they were down over 10%, which is very substantial. At the Cornell Chronicle, Jim Hatchett in 2018 said that legalized medicinal marijuana would greatly reduce the prescriptions that had been written for depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, psychosis, seizures. Obviously, anytime you can downsize the prescription rate that you're getting written, it's going to be better, in my opinion. The results indicate that the dangerous side effects that come from these prescriptions will be greatly reduced. I don't think that's pretty common sense. If you're reducing the number of prescriptions, that the side effects, of course, are going to reduce. Should cannabis be preferred over prescription drugs? How many of you guys known somebody that has overdosed on pain pills? I think I've known at least 5 to 10. Now ask yourself how many people you know who's overdosed on cannabis. I don't think I know any. Many things encourage the use of medicinal marijuana. I urge you to go read some literature. But other than that, what I've told you is concrete facts, and I think that it definitely sways to the use of medicinal cannabis. If that isn't enough, let's talk about the legal aspects. Third, we're going to talk about the criminal aspects involving the legalization of cannabis. Does anyone think that legalizing cannabis is going to cause more arrests? This gets a little bit muddy. We've found a few items, and one of them was from the Colorado Division of Criminal Justice. In 2020, there was 180 fewer felony cases than there was in 2012. I know that number sounds small, but we're not talking about misdemeanors. We're talking about felony cases. They also, in that article, said in 2012 they had seized 46,000 illegal plants. In 2018, it had downsized to 1,500. So obviously there's less illegal growing going on, which is great for everybody. I know a lot of people that are probably have at least seen some time in the jail system, the judicial system, for marijuana when it's natural compared to getting arrested with pills, depending on how many pills it is, the amount of pills. You know, it just seems that the downfall for marijuana at this point is far greater than it needs to be. Hopefully some of this stuff that I've talked about will help change your mind on the way you're viewing things. I would just like to say that I understand the negative pushback, but I'd urge you to do your own research. Legalizing cannabis doesn't mean there's no regulations, okay? To me, this is my opinion, it's mind-blowing to me that we can have cigarettes and tobacco products, alcohol, all of them being legalized when the number of deaths that are attributed to tobacco and alcohol are far greater than anyone could ever attribute deaths to cannabis. So that just goes to show you that it can be done with regulations. I don't think anyone's saying that legalizing cannabis should be done without any regulations. So I know that has some stigma that people's just going to go around and smoke marijuana all day, every day. And of course, that's not the case. I personally have no hidden agenda. These are my beliefs. Even if cannabis was legalized, due to my job, my career, I would not be able to partake in cannabis. So I don't have any reason to feel the way that I do, except for what I've observed with my own eyes. And I've just seen too many lives wrecked and destroyed due to pharmaceuticals when there's a natural and safe alternative.